Today, I am going to be showing you the difference between cloth, leather, and plate armor. And I'm also going to be showing you the difference of the three from the damage that you deal to the damage that you receive, alright? All of these tests today will be done with a spiked gauntlet. For the damage, we're going to be using Gravitational Collapse, which is one of the higher damaging abilities in the game that comes out very quickly. It is a single attack, a single hit that does an AoE cone, which is a great way to judge the power differential of the three armors. And we're also going to be seeing how much damage we negate when we go from cloth to leather and leather to plate. Now, I recommend you use whatever armor in the game that you like the active ability of, alright? Don't let the base stats of these armors sway your decision. If you're just killing mobs and you need no defense, there's no reason not to use cloth, okay? And in this test, we're using the default, just standard variations of the armors. So for cloth, we're using a mage robe because you generally wear cloth when you want to deal more damage, and the mage robe has a base of 50% and then increases by 8 with the passive, meaning it's out of all the cloth armors, it is one of the top ones at 50% base. Yes, the Cultist robe is also 50%. Next up is the Mercenary Jacket. Again, all three of these armors we're testing, they are not artifact, they are not anything special, they are just baseline. The Mercenary Jacket has an excellent balance of damage and armor. It's not the highest armored, it's not the lowest armored, it is also not the highest damage increasing or the lowest damage increasing. It is right in the middle, exactly as leather armors intend. And finally, we have the Guardian armor, which is a focus on defense and not so much damage increases, which means it has the highest defense for the baseline armors. However, it does not have the most offensive capabilities that some of the other plate armors have, because it is mostly used for defensive reasons. With that said, let's get started with the test. So this is a pretty easy way to test damage. We just hit the target dummies, okay? And we did, well, that was very laggy on my screen, okay? So the combat log says that we did 1,692 damage. Also, I want to point out that you have the same HP regardless of what armor you equip. It's purely based on spec, and if everything is max spec, you get the same amount of HP from any armor. Okay, so now we have leather armor. This one did 1,328. Now, for plate, for damage, you can't really get a fair damage estimate when you have Spirit Crush active, so we're making sure just to use Protective Instinct, because this is for PvE. This will destroy their max and current health by 12% for 3 seconds, so, and it doesn't affect players. But for plate, the damage is 1,071. So this is our damage test results here. You can see, obviously, wearing cloth, an insane amount of damage, whereas when you wear plate, we deal 257 less damage from leather, whereas from cloth to leather, you lose even more damage, but cloth to plate, you lose 621 damage. Alright, so with that said, like I said, you really should pick your armors based on the active abilities that you want to use, but now let's do a defensive test to see just how much damage we can negate from a strong enemy. Now what we're going to do is take damage from this Battle-Scarred Berserker, but his active ability, not his auto attack. So we're going to get pounded on here, and we're going to wait until he does a bigger swing. There we go, this attack. That hit me for 191 damage. So we're going to compare that now with the other armor sets. And again, the second test here, we're going to... you can already see that the auto attacks are dealing less damage. And this one is 139 damage. Alright, which was a difference of 52 damage. So now let's try out the plate. Again, we can see that we're taking less damage from autos. Much less. And 110 damage. So it's a pretty big difference. And here is the end result. You can clearly see that we're taking not quite double the damage when wearing cloth, but essentially we negate 81 damage if we wear plate over cloth. We negate 29 damage if we wear plate over leather. But if you wear leather over cloth, you're negating 52 damage, which is... It's closer to plate than it is cloth. So what these tests show is that well, you negate a lot of damage with just leather alone. Cloth, you're taking a beating. Okay, you're just getting beat the hell up. Whereas leather, nice damage mitigation. Plate, obviously, over cloth, more damage negation, but plate over leather, you're not really negating that much damage. But when you factor in the numbers of how much damage you deal in leather compared to plate, it's a lot. It's a huge amount. And so what I think that this test shows is that you should definitely, if you're just dealing damage and you don't care about taking any hits at all, just wear cloth, obviously. There's like no reason to ever wear plate in that situation. If your goal is to like smash through low tier dungeons as fast as possible, you have no business wearing plate, okay? And what this also means is that if you are dealing like mid-tier combat area, like if you're trying to solo group dungeons or something, you're going to get the best bet. You're going to get the best bang for your buck out of leather because you're going to deal a good amount of damage. Leather has nice abilities that are very synergizing with, you know, most solo dungeon clearing, group dungeon clearing things. And you're going to have decent defense from it. Whereas plate, well, you're just negating a little bit more damage, but you're giving up a lot of your own damage. So if your role is like maybe you're a tank in a dungeon, obviously you're going to be wearing plate. If you're a tank for a Zerg versus Zerg, you're obviously going to be wearing plate. Your goal when wearing plate is not to hurt people, it's to hold people down and make sure they don't run away, right? You have no business wearing plate outside of group activities, really honestly. Like there's, like for the chads that want to play in groups, you got your plate, I guess, and it lets someone else deal the damage. For people that like to solo, then use leather, and people that just want to deal as much damage as possible in content that you don't need defense, and for content that maybe you're in a group and your entire role is damage dealing, then obviously you'll wear cloth as well. But leather is probably the best all-around thing that I could recommend from these tests. Hopefully this helped you, you know, get an ideal of the benefits of wearing, you know, leather, cloth, and plate. And again, we just tested the armor because that's where the majority of your defenses come from. Your helmets and your boots, not so much, okay? Not so much at all. Yes, there's a little bit boost, but the armor is where most of it comes from. That's why we only tested armor and not helmets and boots, okay? Guys, I'm Soul Binging. Thanks for watching. As always, be a bro and stay swole. Make sure that you leave a like. Make sure you leave a comment as well. I read every single comment, so if you have any questions, let me know. Also, comment on other people's comments, okay? Wouldn't it be wild if every comment in this video had a reply? That would be nuts. And guys, if you want to support me financially, click the thanks button down below. Leave a one-time monetary donation. It does show up in the comments. There was a person who left 50 Filipino pesos. And, you know, that big 50 number, you know, popped right up in there. He flexed his money, which realistically is 92 cents in US dollars. I still appreciate it. It doesn't matter the amount. It's just a cool thing to see when you scroll through the comments, okay? And if you want to support me by, you know, monthly, not bi-monthly, but monthly, as in once a month, there's a $5 membership thing you can do to become a channel member. It's like being subscribed, like, on Twitch. It's the same exact thing, but it's YouTube's way of doing it, all right? And that gives you access to private, more personal videos that only members can see. If you check the pinned comment of this video, you will see a playlist to that members-only playlist. And one of those videos is how to be a YouTuber, what video programs I use, what settings I use, what editing programs I use in the settings, how I record things, how I do tags, titles, thumbnails, search engine optimization. If you're one of those dudes that just hates my guts and you wonder how do my videos, you know, pop up when people search Albion Online, if that video will show you how to do it. It's only $5. It's a 40-minute long video. Anyway, guys, I think it's worth $5, but I'm Soul Benji. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Make sure you're subscribed because I make videos every day and you don't want to miss tomorrow's video. Take care.